You know, one question I get asked a ton is if I would ever date an African American man or if I ever been with one. And my answer is it's not for me. Unfortunately, it's not for me. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. It's not. We don't like you guys, okay? African American are the least desirable to date in the whole US, okay? A lot of people won't make a video about this because they feel like they're gonna get a lot of hate and they're afraid to hurt people's feelings. But I'm here to tell you, I don't care about your feelings. I care about the truth and being honest. That's it.
And I'm truly not a man hater. But the truth of the matter is, like, I can't stand niggas. Like every fucking day it's something. And it's like, why do I still why am I acting like you're a person?
I wrote a piece on Substack about how I just don't believe that I'm black men's type. And the reason I say this is because I hold very radical values and I have a very decolonized point of view on life and success and relationships. And a lot of values that I have, they just don't align with plenty of black men.
I hate men because at a young age, when my mom was drunk and other niggas was in the room and they wanted to fuck with my mom, they would press all up on my mom, try to kiss up on my mom, and try to have sex with my mom while I was literally 5, 6 years old right in the room. And at 6 years old, I felt this overwhelming need to protect my mom. And it's sad because a 6-year-old shouldn't have that understanding that, yo, my mom isn't cognitive, but this man is trying to fuck my mother right in front of me.
I hear you, sis, but that's what social media want us to believe. All those comments of men attacking me for speaking up and saying my truth, I'm never going to stop pushing black love. I'm never going to stop pushing black men and black women loving each other, not tearing each other down, not allowing other people to come in and tear us down. I'm never going to stop pushing that message. I promise you, please do not read these comments and think for 1 second that these are real black men. They're not. And that's why they angry. Look at it. Real men are not sitting on the internet all day fucking mad and angry and yelling at women all day long.
Welcome to Black Tea with Nam D, the space where the spill ain't petty nor messy. It's medicine, the spill that heals. Transparency cuts through confusion. Empathy restores humanity. Accountability replaces quiescence with responsibility. That's the real TEA. Not gossip, but growth. Not shame, but truth. Sip slow, heal deep, stay black. Now here's your host, Nam D.
Peace. I'm Lumdi, the host. When I was 8 years old, I was raised in a house where vows repeated like refrains without resolution. 5 iterations of forever, each dissolving into the grammar of leaving. My mother, singular in title, plural in endurance, held us together with brittle intentions, a calloused heart, and ear-splitting torment. Stepfather number 3, a man whose commerce moved in shadows through the veins of Little Rock, was, paradoxically, a good father to me. Good in the way contradiction often is. Gentle in daylight, volatile in the hours when love forgot its language. Their arguments were operatic, not composed, but eruptive. Plates of accusation shattering against the ghetto walls of our becoming. We migrated like unsettled thoughts, from Arkansas angst to Florida fluff. A 1975 Cadillac stretching highway into testimony. Chrome reflecting a future not made of fluff. Orlando held us briefly, a year and a half suspended between what was breaking and what had yet to begin. There were get-togethers. They called them that, as if naming could sanctify the ritual. Soul music spilling from speakers, casting spells of funky bass, body odors of beer, bud, and hormonal bliss. Spades slapped like declarations. Dominoes slammed like small, contained wars. Strategy and chance colliding on tabletops where laughter was a badge of honor, while roasting could be bad for business. We, Them badass kids banished to the bedroom for TV and treats, as if sugar could translate adulthood. But curiosity is a door that never quite closes. We peeked, and I saw them, a man and a woman, slow dancing.
What do you want?
I want a guy to show me myself. I want him to love me so deeply I'm not afraid to show him how ugly I can be. I want him to show me scars I never knew I had. But I don't want him to make them go away. I want him to hold my hand while I nurse them myself.
Then suddenly, bam! He slammed her to the floor with the same finality as a domino striking wood. A pause. Not silence, but something heavier. Then he gathered her again, lifted her like something precious, like something he had not just broken. And they resumed their motion as if continuity could erase impact. It was there, in that dissonant choreography, that a question took root in me. What is this tension between black man and black woman? This oscillation between violence and devotion, between rupture and repair.
My father left and I still blame my mother for how I was raised. That makes a lot of people uncomfortable. When my parents were still married, I watched them fight constantly. But here's the part that people don't expect. I watched my father try not to fight. I remember him trying to de-escalate the argument. I remember him trying to stop them before they even started, but my mother would escalate it. I watched her throw the first punch. I watched my father take a deep breath, then close the door, and then you hear a whole bunch of things break because they fighting in a room. Loud noise, bang, just two people fight. When I was a kid, I really didn't understand what I was watching, but I felt it. I also saw a lot of things that kids shouldn't see, like infidelity, my mother cheating openly. And at the time, I ain't understand, but I saw it. When their marriage ended, my mother spent years telling us how terrible our father was, painting him as the villain. But the problem with that story was, I had experienced my father until I was 9. I knew who he was. I saw him go to work, take care of his family, come home. Even when he was selling drugs, he made sure my mother didn't have to work. He paid the bills. He came home every day. He tried to keep the family together. So as I became a man and started going through my own relationships, those childhood memories start to make more sense. And I realized something. In a lot of ways, I wasn't just abandoned by my father. I watched my mother push him away. I watched my mother give him a hard time for just trying to see us and still be present in our lives because of whatever feelings she had for him. I watched her try to turn us against him. So, nah, I don't carry a lot of anger towards my father for leaving, but I do hold him accountable for one thing. Once we became adults and my mother wasn't in between us anymore, he never tried to build a relationship, and it's never too late for a father to try. So today, I hold my father accountable for the man that he chose to be, but when I look at my childhood and I replay everything that I saw, I know exactly who the main perpetrator was, and it wasn't him.
Why did love in my home sound like a beautiful collision, feel like something both sacred and unstable? Why did my mother war with words and her husband's hit with hands? And how could a man slam a woman like dominoes, then pick her up like picking roses from a garden? I did not yet have the language, only the witnessing. But even then, I understood this much. Love, historically, was never simple for Black people. Nnamdi Naive is my name. The Father's presence and protection of my inner child's innocence, the theology of pureness and labor of love. all I ever wanted was to please my mother. Wash the dishes, a barked command before she leaves for work. Trying to earn extra points, I cleaned everything. Bedroom, living room, even the kitchen floorboards, scrubbed until they reflected a child searching for approval. But the dishes, I forgot. Yet the domestic altar proves unforgiving. One forgotten command fractures the illusion of earned grace, and discipline arrives not as guidance, but as a switch, a belt, or that damn extension cord. Year 2026 reveals 2026 marks. Scars and bruises all over my body from the switches, belts, and those damn extension cords. Yet and still, my heart cries at night for mama and black women healing. Because my mama cried at night. Her tears spoke fluent heartbreak, translating the language of men into something I now understand. Because in this emotional economy, the maternal figure is both sacred and stained with misandry, a witness to her own suffering, her grief reverberating through time. My sisters, nieces and female cousins, my exes, all had constellation of bruises, each mark a punctuation in a story they never chose to write. And I made a vow in my innocence, in my naivety. When I grow up, I will be a better man. I will build altars for my tenderness, place women high upon them, above fault, above fracture, above myself. I will kneel if it means they never have to break again. I will love them so completely that their wounds forget their names. But somewhere between devotion and disappearance, I misplaced myself in a world I tried to heal. They look at me not as refuge, not as remedy, but as reminder. They hate me simply because I am a black man.
There is a language we have inherited from predominantly white institutional books, from podcasts, tik-tocks, and broken mirrors, a dialect of distrust where black men and black women meet not as reflections, but as resistance, where love is conjugated in conflict and intimacy feels like interrogation. And somewhere along the line, misandry, loud boiling water weaponized, became both hydration and hatchet. Before the argument, there was a theft, not subtle, not accidental, but systemic, surgical, sustained. Have we forgotten that our history in America began with the dismantling of our original identity? Man became commodity, woman became inventory, and in that violent renaming, something sacred was severed. The relational blueprint between black man and black woman. Break the black man publicly, strip him of his power and dignity, educate the black woman, force her to teach the oppressor's culture to children, reward her cooperation, punish his resistance, and what you produce is not just a workforce, but a wedge. Generational quiescence. He cannot protect you. She does not need you. This was design. Emancipation did not equal restoration, because while chains were removed from wrists, they remained on perception. And then, language. In 1883, Harper's Monthly observed something profound. Black Americans began rejecting the terms uncle and auntie as used by white society, not because the words lacked warmth, but because they lacked respect. They were substitutes, ways to avoid Mr., to deny Mrs., to keep grown men as boys and grown women as perpetual procuresses, and our ancestors refused, because they understood a hierarchy of being. We are first men and women, secondly husbands and wives, thirdly fathers and mothers. This was not ego, this was architecture. To demand proper titles was to demand humanity. To insist on structure was to insist on society. But history does not always repeat. Sometimes it repackages. Because now, in a paradox almost poetic in its irony, we have reclaimed the very terms once used to reduce us. Uncle, or simply unk, OG, and auntie are now cultural badges, terms of endearment, markers of familiarity. And again, let us be clear, there is nothing wrong with affection, but there is something dangerous about forgetting foundation. Because a society is not built on nicknames, it is built on roles: man, woman, husband, wife, father, mother. Auntie is supposed to extend from motherhood. Uncle or unk is supposed to extend from fatherhood. But when the root is unstable, the branch becomes performance. And so, we celebrate the symbol while neglecting the structure. We perform kinship without cultivating it. And while we navigate this paradox, another force is at work. For over 400 years, American society has curated a narrative through minstrel shows, through cinema, through sitcoms where black fathers are absent or inept, through music industries that monetize dysfunction, through social media algorithms that reward division. We have been taught to misrecognize each other, conditioned to see threat where there should be tenderness. So when a black woman says, "I hate black men," we must ask, what archive is she citing? And when a black man withdraws, deflects, or hardens, we must ask, what narrative taught him that availability is unsafe? This is the discourse, hurt speaking to hurt without translation. And in the midst of this, observe the cultural stage, the amplification of every form of union. Interracial, multiracial, queer, solitary, all propagandized in American popular culture. Yet black love between black man and black woman is often framed as struggle, as exception, as spectacle. We are overexposed to fracture and underexposed to foundation. And in our desire to fit in, to belong within American society, we have absorbed more than opportunity. We have absorbed ideology. The gender war is not native to us, it is inherited, a byproduct of Western individualism, where competition replaces cooperation and dominance disguises itself as equality. And through assimilation, through the quiet pressure to be legible, acceptable, modern, we adopted the conflict without interrogating its origin. Psychologically, fitting in is survival. It requires fragmentation. You split yourself, public, private, performative. You measure your worth by proximity to acceptance. And in that process, authentic connection becomes difficult, because how do you love when you are still negotiating who you are? So we adapt. Black men, labeled dangerous, become emotionally distant. Black women, labeled undesirable, become independent and hypersexual, both rationalized, both protective, but together, collisional. And all the while, systems benefit from our separation, because unity is power, economic, cultural, political, and a unified black family has always been seen as a threat. So alternatives are promoted, individualism over interdependence, isolation framed as empowerment, performance over permanence. And we, seeking belonging, participate. But now, we must interrogate. Have we mistaken adaptation for evolution? Have we confused visibility with value? Have we embraced language while abandoning legacy? Because being auntie without being anchored in womanhood, wifehood, motherhood is incomplete. Being uncle, unk, or OG without discipline in manhood, husbandhood, fatherhood is insufficient. We are not extensions before we are established. So what is the solution? Not blame, but rebuilding. Transparency. To speak honestly about our wounds, our conditioning, our contradictions. To admit that some of what we celebrate may be compensating for what we lack. Empathy. To listen without defense. To understand that our pain is historical, but our healing must be intentional. Accountability. To take responsibility for reconstruction. To prioritize commitment over convenience, structure over symbolism, legacy over likes. Because we cannot undo 400 years, but we can disrupt its continuation. we can choose to study each other again, not as enemies, but as co-architects. To render Black love not as miracle, but as method. And perhaps one day, when the archive is revisited, they will not only find our fractures, but our frameworks, not only our discourse, but our design. And Black men and Black women will not be trending as opposition, but remembered as alignment, together. It's time to spill the real TEA, not gossip, but growth, not shame, but truth. Sip slow, heal deep, stay Black. Peace.